Λοιπόν, καλημέρα από μένα. Σας χαιρετώ από Αμερική. Καλησπέρα για σας. Good morning or good evening, depending where you are. I'm Maria Kaliambou, and I will chair the next panel. I will switch to English. I will present in English, but we can talk then in Greek if you want. So let me share my PowerPoint. My title is Teaching Greek Diaspora in a Language Classroom, and I will move up to the tertiary education, to the university level. And in this presentation, I argue that teaching diaspora is an essential component of foreign language instruction. I ask how diaspora-related topics can be meaningfully integrated into the language classroom, and how such practices can be expanded into a standalone autonomous language course. So, to address these issues, I will present a series of pedagogical activities drawn from my own teaching experience. First, I will demonstrate an ethnographic project based on oral interviews, which allows students to engage with lived experiences of the members of the diasporic community while developing linguistic and analytical skills. Then, second, I will discuss a few cultural field trips designed to connect students directly with local diaspora communities. And then finally, I will introduce a course I currently teach on Greek Americans taught in English and explore ways in which its content, structure, and methodologies can be adapted to a foreign language classroom environment. But before I begin, I would like to tell you a few words about the Hellenic Studies program at Yale, for those who are not familiar with it. The program at Yale, the Hellenic Studies program at Yale, was established in July 2001 with the generous support of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation. Since 2007, it has been formally organized as the Stavros Niarchos Center for Hellenic Studies at Yale. The program offers elementary, intermediate, and advanced levels of modern Greek. In addition, the program provides courses in modern Greek literature, culture, and history. The program organizes also lectures, symposia, and conferences, as well as a wide range of cultural events. Yale's modern Greek language program operates with one language instructor, which is me, and is responsible for teaching, research, and administrative tasks. The language instructor collaborates with the Center for Language Study, a central hub for all language faculty at Yale University. So the class sizes are modest, and students represent a variety of academic disciplines and different class years. This mix of motivations creates a dynamic and vibrant learning environment within Yale's modern Greek program. The majority of the students are American. Among the students, there is constantly a cohort of heritage students, students of Greek origin. Some have had prior exposure to their language and culture through their families and community institutions. Typically, heritage students comprise around 1/3 to 1/2 of the students. Now, I move to the first part, to the ethnographic project. Research has shown that ethnographic projects play a significant role in facilitating meaningful interactions with native speakers in the language classroom. In this section, I present the project Interviewing Greek Americans, which I assigned to my classes back in 2012. The project required students to develop core ethnographic skills by engaging directly with Greek Americans and eliciting narratives about their lives and personal histories. The initiative was met with great enthusiasm by all participating students, 6 from the elementary level course and 9 from the intermediate level. They conducted interviews with family members, friends, and members of the Greek community area in New Haven. The project involved several scaffolding tasks, including the preparation of a written questionnaire with basic biographical questions, the conducting of the actual interview, and the presentation of the findings and oral presentation in class. Also, at the end of the semester, the students composed a reflective essay synthesizing all this collected material and their experience as novice ethnographers in modern Greek. For some students, particularly of those of Greek American background, the project offered a profound opportunity to reconnect with relatives and explore family histories more deeply. For others, interviewing unfamiliar individuals proved both challenging and intellectually stimulating. The resulting narratives are often moving and at times overwhelming. Personal histories can complicate and even surpass official historical accounts. So beyond their pedagogical impact, these oral histories possess significant cultural, historical, and personal value. They can also function as authentic reading materials for teaching biography in the language classroom. Now, I will show you some examples here. Yeah, the interviews were collected and edited by me and published in this booklet printed by the Yale Printing Services as part of a series, Modern Greek at Yale, a series of booklets that I publish here at Yale. The cover illustration is painted by a student, by one of my students, Isabella Huffington, and it depicts, as you see, birds flying from one country to another, so visually capturing this diaspora and this migration feeling that emerged from this project. And let me show you some examples of this project, interviewing Greek Americans. Here you see a student who was enrolled in my elementary Greek, my first semester. He interviewed Michael Chang, so of Chinese origin. He interviewed a Greek woman who worked in the dining hall, Nicoletta. The interview questions were aligned with his linguistic proficiency and focused on basic biographical information. And if you can see, what's your name? Where are you from? Do you have siblings? Do they live in the United States? Why did you come to the United States? What do you do for work? What language do you speak? What languages do you speak? Do you see your family in Greece? Are you married? Do you have children? So questions for his level elementary one. The next example is from an intermediate student, much more elaborated. He's a third semester student in intermediate Greek, who produced a more elaborate and sophisticated written essay that combined both narrative reflection, interview data, and also creative interpretation. His work opens with a short narrative in which he critically reflects on the reliability of his interviewees' responses. He believed that his uncle, whom he interviewed, you see those two in the pictures, on the photos, the uncle did not accurately recall certain details. So Daniel, my student, was a student of music composition, a composer, and he extended this project beyond written language, and he composed a song and wrote also the lyrics of these songs, which you can see on the right side. The lyrics were inspired by his uncle's migration story. His uncle was forced to leave Greece and immigrate to the United States after a tragic accident in which he struck 40 sheep while driving a bus, an incident that his family could not afford to resolve financially, and so he had to migrate in the United States. So he wrote a song based on that. He wrote the lyrics and the song, and you see here the song that he wrote, the partiture, the nomenclature, the music that he created. So the integration of music now transformed this interview in a more deeply affective and multimodal narrative, making the project especially moving for both the class, for me, and for the student. So we see several results coming out from this project. Now, I come to the second part about educational trips. A few casual trips connect students directly with local communities, or with diasporic communities. Educational trips are a valuable addition to the language program at Yale University, serving as a supplement to the regular curriculum. These trips develop students' language learning and enhance their intercultural competence. Students have the opportunity to encounter different facets of Greek culture and society in the diaspora. So the first place where we go is New York City, which is the closest major urban center, which offers students abundant opportunities to immerse themselves in Greek language and culture. Language classes visit Astoria, a vibrant Greek neighborhood in Queens, New York, known for its numerous Greek restaurants, coffee shops, and cultural centers. These visits expose students to real-life situations where they can practice elementary level conversations, such as ordering food, inquiring about prices, and introducing themselves. Students explore everyday life in a Greek American neighborhood, and also they have the opportunity to visit Greek cultural centers, such as the Onassis Center, Stavros Niarchos Foundation Center, etc. But the bigger project was the trip to Tarpon Springs in Florida. The program organized another educational trip to Tarpon Springs in Florida from January 5th to January 8th in 2011, with the aim to participate in the Epiphany Day celebration of January 6th, the Theophania Day. Known for its substantial Greek immigrant population, particularly from Kaliambou and other Dodecanese islands, Tarpon Springs maintains the tradition of sponge diving. The Epiphany ritual involves young boys diving into Spring Bayou to retrieve the cross and receive blessings from the Archbishop. The spectacle attracts visitors from all corners of the US, but also from Greece. The exposure to the Epiphany Day ritual allowed students from different religious backgrounds to find commonalities with their own traditions. As one Jewish student in my class noted, I quote, "The memories from this trip have greatly informed my understanding of Greek American culture and will definitely last a lifetime. Coming from a non-Greek Orthodox and non-Christian background, I was very interested in the religious aspects of the day. It was my first time in a service. It was my first time in a Greek Orthodox church in America. I found it very interesting how similar the Greek Orthodox service seemed to the many Jewish religious services I have attended," end of quote. She's surprised that people talk in Greek, and she continues, I quote, "The Tarpon Springs community, however, has enough members adept at or fluent in modern Greek that even the sermon was told in modern Greek and then followed by English," she noted. So the students actively participated in the community festivities, the Glendi, at the Tarpon Springs Community Center, engaging in traditional cuisine, live music, and folk dances. Furthermore, students conducted interviews with various individuals, including the most famous sponge diver immigrants to Tarpon Springs, and the last one also diving helmet craftsman, the town's historian, museum's curator, and a Kalimian violinist. These interviews offered valuable insights into the local culture and history of Tarpon Springs while gaining a deeper understanding of historical events spanning the last century, throughout the century. Students expressed their appreciation of this, they call it captivating educational experience. For one student who was history major and his family hailed from Kaliambou, this visit in Tarpon Springs provided a meaningful connection to his heritage. For him, the trip seamlessly blended personal interests with his passion for the Greek language and Orthodox faith. And here you see a nice, beautiful photograph with me and the students and the sponge diver in Tarpon Springs, and you see also the sponges. We are on his boat, and we had a trip with him and a nice interview with him about his life and all these experiences of the Greek culture in Tarpon Springs. All right, so now I move to the third part of my talk about the program, the Hellenic Studies program. I offered the seminar, The Greek Diaspora in the United States. This is taught in English, and this seminar explores the history and culture of Greek Americans from the late 19th century to the present. It situates the Greek American experience in the larger discussion of ethnic histories that have shaped modern America. I will show you the syllabus, and I will briefly comment on the syllabus. The seminar is organized thematically. It begins with a well-known argument advanced by Moscow's in Struggling for Success, followed by an examination of the historiographical debates surrounding Greek Americans, which frame the challenges and shifting identities of the community. Subsequent sessions focus on the formation of Greek communities, the establishment of institutions and associations, patterns of professional life, and forms of civic engagement, all of which played a central role in shaping the political and social presence of Greek Americans in the United States. The seminar also investigates the everyday lives of Greek Americans with particular attention to religious and educational practices. It also addresses questions of gender and sexuality within Greek America, as well as the role of folkloric rituals and celebrations in community life, such as the one that we've just seen in Tarpon Springs. The course then turns to the artistic expressions of Greek immigrants, examining their contributions to literature, theater, cinema, and music as key sites of cultural production. Finally, the seminar considers the preservation and presentation of Greek American history and life in the few diaspora museums in America, and culminates with students' presentations of their oral history projects and a concluding synthesis that ties together the above-mentioned themes of migration, history, and identity. The seminar also incorporates several experiential components, which include a class trip to the Greek community of Orange, the next city, the next town here from Yale, a film screening of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, a virtual tour of the National Hellenic Museum in Chicago, and guest lectures by experts and community members. Now, students have several assignments for this course. The central component of the seminar is an oral history project in which students conduct interviews via Zoom with members of the Greek community in the New Haven area. The project was structured around a series of scaffolding tasks. I will run them a little bit fast because of time. These preparatory steps were followed by the interviews themselves. These tasks included, as you see, training in oral history. Students first receive instruction in oral history interview techniques. In collaboration with experts from the Yale libraries, they become familiar with the essential steps of conducting a professional interview. Then is designing the questionnaire. The students, after receiving, students design a questionnaire, then receive feedback from me, and then they finalize their questions. All questionnaires follow a similar, more or less, framework, including basic identification questions, topics that we covered in class, such as community affiliation, education, professional life. In addition, each student conducts a preliminary research on their interviewee. So they develop targeted questions tailored to the individual's experiences and background. Maintaining a reflective journal, students throughout the interview process maintain a journal which is submitted at the end of the semester. This serves as a personal account of their experiences, documenting their feelings and their reactions during the course of the project. It also provides an opportunity for self-evaluation. So they reflect what are their strengths and the weaknesses. Then is the actual interview. Students scheduled meetings with their interviewees, which in some cases presented logistical challenges, but with some assistance, all interviews proceeded smoothly without technical difficulties. Then is transcribing the interviews, a demanding task. Students use AI, artificial intelligence transcription tools, combining, of course, with manual editing. And then at the end, they write a final essay. They produce analytical papers, integrated data from their interviews, and also with broader research. So in sum, this project represents an extended multi-stage process spanning the semester and encompassing preparation, active engagement, and reflection. The result is an archive. I see that time flies, but I finish. This is the first archive at Yale of oral history of the Greek American community. It is housed at the Yale Sterling Library. The importance of this archive is twofold. It preserves the voices of Greek America for future scholarship and also demonstrates the value of student research as a means of documenting local diasporic history. And here you see the students. These are the pairs, a photo collage of students, the 24 interviews we had so far, the students and their interviewees. So now my future plans is to imagine this seminar as a hybrid theme-based course for advanced level learners of modern Greek, with a particular focus on heritage learners of Greek American background. Grounded in theories of translanguaging and heritage language pedagogy, the course embraces students' full linguistic repertoire, including Greek, English, and potential regional dialects as valid resources for communicating and critical inquiry. The curriculum will be organized around culturally resonant themes, such as migration, community formation, professional and political engagement, everyday life, religion, education, family dynamics, and artistic expression in literature, music, and film. These themes are explored through authentic materials such as literary excerpts, oral histories, community archives, and bilingual media. Additional assignments will be bilingual journals and thematic essays, which will be calibrated to the students' proficiency levels. They are designed to support vocabulary development, grammatical accuracy, and discursive complexity, while fostering intercultural awareness. So, following a critical pedagogy approach that extends learning beyond the classroom, the course provides students with hands-on experience in ethnographic research. As recent scholarship on heritage studies and community-engaged learning demonstrates, conducting oral interviews with local community members not only enhances students' intercultural competencies, but also supports their personal and social development and strengthens their awareness of professional growth as emerging practitioners. And to sum up, by engaging directly with diaspora communities and reflecting on their own positionality, students not only develop advanced linguistic and analytical skills, but also cultivate cultural awareness and reflexivity. In this way, the proposed advanced course moves beyond language acquisition alone. It fosters a learning environment in which modern Greek becomes a medium for self-discovery and meaningful engagement with heritage. Ultimately, the course seeks to prepare students to navigate multilingual and multicultural worlds with a deep understanding of language as a social and diasporic practice. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry if I, took more time. So we have a few minutes for, either Greek or English, whatever you prefer. We can talk, we can chat in either language you would like to talk to. Diaspora in a foreign language class. I give you a few seconds. Yes, Marianthi, καλησπέρα.
Καλησπέρα, Μαρία, καλημέρα. Πολύ ενδιαφέρον το κομμάτι της εθνογραφικής προσπάθειας και της καταγραφής, πραγματικά πολύ ενδιαφέρον. Πολύ καλή πρακτική. Θα ήθελα να ρωτήσω, στη διδασκαλία, το κομμάτι που με ενδιαφέρει πολύ, αυτά τα εθνογραφικά στοιχεία, αυτές οι αφηγήσεις αξιοποιούνται με κάποιο τρόπο, δηλαδή σας βοηθούν στο να χτίσετε πάνω σε αυτές?
Ναι. Καταρχήν, στο εξάμηνο στο οποίο γίνονται οι εθνογραφικές δουλειές, μπορούν οι φοιτητές οι ίδιοι καταρχήν τις παρουσιάζουν, είναι μέρος του project, να τις παρουσιάσουν στην τάξη και είναι ευκαιρία να συζητήσουμε για προσωπικές βιογραφίες. Είναι ένας χώρος όπου πραγματικά οι φοιτητές έρχονται σε άμεση σχέση με τις οικογένειές τους και όχι μόνο τις δικές τους και άλλες, γιατί πολλοί φοιτητές δεν είναι Έλληνες και ήρθαν σε επαφή με Έλληνες εδώ. Οπότε τις αξιοποιούμε μέσα στην τάξη, την διάρκεια που γίνεται η εθνογραφική δουλειά, αμέσως μετά όταν τελειώνει. Ένας άλλος τρόπος που μπορούν να αξιοποιηθούν αυτά είναι όπως το βιβλιαράκι που σας έδειξα, το οποίο δημοσιεύτηκε μετά το πέρας του εξαμήνου. Αυτό μπορεί να χρησιμοποιηθεί μετά σε άλλα μαθήματα ως
Σαν βάση δεδομένων, ας πούμε.
βάση δεδομένων και ως υλικό πάνω στο οποίο μπορούμε είτε να μάθουμε τη γλώσσα είτε να μάθουμε τις ιστορίες των μελών της κοινότητας. Δηλαδή θέλω να πω και στο ίδιο το εξάμηνο που γίνεται το project μέσα στο εξάμηνο αυτό, αλλά και στα επόμενα εξάμηνα από άλλες φουρνιές φοιτητών. Ας πούμε τώρα έχω φοιτητές που μελετάνε το αρχείο που το έφτιαξαν προηγούμενα άλλα παιδιά. Το μελετάνε για να φτιάξουν δικές τους διπλωματικές εργασίες.
Είναι πολύ ενδιαφέρουσα αυτή η πρακτική, πραγματικά, και από ό,τι καταλαβαίνω το βλέπετε και γλωσσικά. Σας βοηθάει να χτίσετε και πάνω στις γλωσσικές επιλογές.
Ναι, είναι διπλό το όφελος. Τώρα, το αρχείο που σας έδειξα που είναι στη βιβλιοθήκη είναι στα αγγλικά. Οι συνεντεύξεις έγιναν στα αγγλικά γιατί μας ζήτησε και η βιβλιοθήκη κατά προτίμηση στα αγγλικά. Στο μάθημα των ελληνικών τα παιδιά πήραν τις συνεντεύξεις στα ελληνικά. Με
Ναι, τις
κάποια...
είδα γι' αυτό. Είδα
Ναι.
και κάποιες που είναι στα ελληνικά.
Είναι στα ελληνικά. Στο μάθημα των ελληνικών είναι στα ελληνικά. Τώρα, επειδή θέλω να συνεχίσω το αρχείο, ο στόχος μου είναι να παίρνουν τις συνεντεύξεις στα αγγλικά, ώστε να μπορούμε να έχουμε το αρχείο στα αγγλικά και μετά στο μάθημα τα παιδιά θα αξιοποιούν ό,τι μπορούν στα ελληνικά, να το παρουσιάζουν στα ελληνικά στο μάθημα. Αυτό είναι για λόγους
Και δεν
καθαρά
είναι
αρχαίου.
δύσκολο αυτό, φαντάζομαι. Θα απαιτεί και ένα επίπεδο γλωσσομάθειας να μεταφέρεις.
Ναι, ναι, βέβαια,
Μμμ.
βέβαια,
Ναι, και
βέβαια,
εμείς και
ναι.
με τους πρόσφυγες εδώ στο Πανεπιστήμιο Αιγαίου ξεκινήσαμε με όποια γλώσσα ήξεραν. Ήταν πολύ δύσκολο να
Πάντως,
αφηγηθούν κάτι. Ναι.
ναι. Πάντως, η πρώτη περίπτωση που σας έδειξα του παιδιού που πήρε συνέντευξη από την Νικολέτα, μια κυρία που δουλεύει στην τραπεζαρία μας, ήταν πρώτο εξάμηνο. Και οι ερωτήσεις που έθεσε ήταν οι πρώτες ερωτήσεις. Πόσα λένε, από πού είσαι, πού μένεις, έχεις παιδιά, τι δουλειά κάνεις. Ήταν πολύ καλό. Πάρα πολύ καλό και η παραγωγή, όπως είδατε, γραπτού λόγου, μία σελίδα με τις ερωτήσεις και τις απαντήσεις. Μπορεί να γίνει δηλαδή σε όλα τα επίπεδα. Θεωρώ η συνέντευξη αυτή μπορεί να γίνει σε όλα τα επίπεδα.
Ναι,
Και
γιατί δίνει κάποιο κίνητρο και στα παιδιά να εμπλακούν. Ναι.
ναι, το θεωρώ ότι είναι πάρα πολύ. Συζήτησαν με φίλους τους, με γονείς και φυσικά μπαίνουν και τα αγγλικά, χρησιμοποιούν και τα αγγλικά, αλλά στην τάξη των ελληνικών πρέπει να
Οπωσδήποτε, ναι,
παραδοθεί.
κατανοητό. Ωραία,
Ε,
ευχαριστούμε. Γιατί
εγώ
μπορεί να θέλει να ρωτήσει και κάποιος άλλος γι' αυτό. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
ευχαριστώ, Μαριάνθη, ναι. Μία ακόμα ερώτηση, one more question maybe, before we move to the next. Ναι, όλοι είστε ήσυχοι και ήσυχες.